Hello and welcome to the weekly news on Cars.co.za. I'm David Taylor, and in today's episode, we're looking at some of the hot new cars coming to our markets in 2025. Okay, punch it.
Think of a car, any car. Yes, Cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you.
Yes, it's December. Key December, as they say, we made it. And yes, while all the official global reveals and local launches have ended, we're already shaping up for 2025. The first invites have already hit up in our inbox, and it's going to be a busy year. Now, it's not just new cars and buckies that are coming to market. There's also going to be new brands. Now, as much as I'd like to discuss each and every brand and each and every model, you guys are going to be here for hours, and data is expensive, and no one has time for that. So these are all the highlights, and yes, I will link the entire report of all the cars and all the buckies coming to our market in the description. Right. Just out of interest, how many brands sell cars and buckies in South Africa? Give it a second, think about this. My first guess was in the 40s. The actual answer, 56. Of those 56, 2 new brands coming to market and launching cars in 2025. One of them you've already heard of, that's MG. Now you may remember MG, it's that British car maker, but now they're under the ownership of the Shanghai Automotive Industry Corporation. And if you've been paying attention, a few MG showrooms have started popping up in the major metropolitan areas. While we don't have a confirmed product lineup, we've already seen the MG Cyberster. I mean, how cool does this thing look? It's an all-electric sports car. It looks amazing. It'll be fast too, like most little electric cars. Officially, entry-level derivative, 0 to 100 time, 5 seconds, and then there's a flagship one that's like 3.5 seconds. It's even more ballistic, but I'm just sold on the looks. MG Cyberster, look out for that. The second brand touching down in South Africa in 2025 is Leapmotor, and that's part of the Stellantis group, which, for the record, Opel, Alfa Romeo, Jeep, Peugeot, Citroen, Maserati, and it's extensive, the Stellantis group. And they've got something interesting, which you're looking at now on your screen. It's called the C10. This is an all-electric luxury SUV, and I'm expecting Leapmotor to piggyback on the Stellantis dealerships to get that quick, easy footprint. Those are just 2 brands that we know of making their debut in South Africa, and you know what it's like. You blink and there's suddenly a new brand. And like, for example, we think Jaecoo, part of the Geely Group, will also be touching down in 2025, but they're not confirming anything yet. Onto the product highlights, and like I said, 56 brands. So many products, there's no time to get them all, so here's some quick highlights. It'll be a big year for Audi South Africa, a flood of all new and facelifted updated models like the A5, which replaces the A4. You know, the one I drove a couple of weeks back in south of France. There'll be a brand new Audi Q5 touching down at the end of the year. But I think all you petrol heads are really excited to see the flagship Audi RS Q8 as well as the updated RS3. While we're on the subject of the Germans, interestingly, I don't think BMW South Africa is going to be having a very big year. It's going to be on the quiet side, with so far the 2 Series Grand Coupe being the only confirmed model. But you know what it's like, they're going to reveal something and it'll be in showrooms a month later. The big one is Mercedes-Benz South Africa, which is going to have an AMG-themed product offensive. So I've gone through the list here. 430 kilowatt E53 sedan, SL63, GT63, the CLE53, as well as an all-electric G-Class, as well as the AMG and the diesel version. But wow, all of these AMG models, I mean, what happened to like an updated C-Class diesel? No, none of that. Everything is AMG next year for AMG. I mean, I've gone through this list and looked through it, and there's some interesting models. I mean, I look at Mitsubishi. They've been quiet for so long. I mean, I spoke about the Triton in last week's video. They're going to have a whole new selection of new cars. The headline act is this stylish thing. This is called the Outlander Sport. And this is going to be the replacement for the ASX. I mean, that thing has been around since like the dawn of time. Great car, very basic, does the basics, but it's old now, very old. So in comes the Outlander Sport. I've seen this model up close already and had a poke around. I think it's very plush and it's quite a big step up for Mitsubishi. Renault is another brand that's been super quiet over the past 2 years. And for those of you who've been after an automatic Clio, finally, it's gonna come. Big year 2025. Facelifts of Clio, Triber, Kiger, Capture, and we're going to see the all-new Duster, which I spoke about last week, as well as the debut of the Arcana, which is kind of like a French X4 thing. It's quite stylish, actually. For all you VW fans, Volkswagen will have a fairly busy 2025, with the headline act being the Golf. Yes, it is official, the Golf 8.5 1.4. You know the normal one, your average hatchback? it's coming back. Some of you may not be aware, but it's been only the GTI and the R, you know, the flagship, the performance stuff. The humble Golf has made a return, and I'm hoping that this sparks a C-segment hatchback revolution. Other V-dubs which are noteworthy, there'll be a cheaper T-Cross derivative, more Tiguans, you know, they promised the 4Motion and the diesel versions, as well as the 7-seater Tayron, which replaces the Allspace. And what about the Chinese brands, you may ask? Well, it wouldn't be a new year with new cars unless the Chinese were going all out. And yes, 2025 will be much of the same. They're going to be flat out. Let's start with Chery. One product debut, that's the flagship Tiggo 9, the big boy. And there'll be new energy derivatives of the current Tiggo lineup. So that's your plug-in hybrids for you and me. Great Wall Motors will have an updated P-Series Bucky. New engine, new name, it'll be called the P300. Off-road brand Tank will have a diesel-powered 300, which will address all the fuel consumption concerns. I mean, the petrol engine is quite thirsty. Diesel is what we want and will be getting. Haval's going to have a facelifted H6, which is a long time coming. That car is good, but it's needed a facelift. There's also going to be a new H7 and a new H9. Right, onto Jaecoo. Jaecoo will be launching its J6 off-roader. It looks like an electric Jimny, very cute little thing. I've driven that thing in China. It's pretty cool. There's going to be a J5, a J8, the big SUV, and a plug-in hybrid J7. Moto, which is the sister brand of Jaecoo and positioned slightly differently, they're going to have the brand new C7 and a plug-in hybrid C9 joining the range in 2025. I needed this coffee after all that. As I've mentioned, we've created this ultimate guide to all the new vehicles coming to our market next year, and I will link that in the description below. So grab a coffee, give it a read, and there's a lot of cars to come. That wraps up this week's video, and as a reminder, if you want a new or used vehicle, Cars.co.za is your go-to destination with over 73,000 vehicles. I will see you next week. Okay, bye.
Think of a car, any car. Yes, Cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you.